Chosen one, hear me, because what is unfolding over your life right now is not random, not accidental, not a coincidence of timing or emotion. This is a divine interruption. Heaven is leaning over you, and the Spirit is pulling you into a moment that was written long before you ever understood the battles you've been fighting. God is dispatching war angels, yes, war angels, to defend the promise He placed inside you before the foundations of the earth. You feel it in your spirit, don't you? That trembling, that unfamiliar pressure, that sudden awareness that something around you has shifted. This is the atmosphere of angelic movement. For too long, you have felt the weight of invisible warfare, the heaviness that sits on your chest at night, the fiery darts of fear that seem to hit you out of nowhere, the spiritual fatigue that comes right when you're trying to rise. But listen, none of it is a sign of defeat. It is the sign of a chosen one whose promise is being targeted. And today, heaven responds, chosen one. God has watched you push through storms that would have crushed the strongest of warriors. He saw the nights you cried silently, the days you pressed forward while feeling completely alone, the moments you kept holding on when you didn't even know why. And because of that faith, small as it sometimes felt, He is sending reinforcement. War angels are not gentle beings. They are not decorative. They are not symbolic. They are warriors fierce, precise, and unstoppable. And heaven has assigned them to you, right now, in the unseen realm. They are taking formation around your promise. Every plot against your destiny is being exposed. Every cycle that was meant to drain you is being broken. Every spiritual attack that tried to silence you is being pushed back. You may not see the battle, but you feel the aftermath of every clash in your spirit. Do not mistake the pressure for defeat. Pressure is proof that you are too close to destiny for the enemy to ignore you. And pressure is the environment where God releases His strongest defenders. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. Let that settle into your spirit. Let it anchor your thoughts. Let it remind you that you walk with an authority hell cannot overturn. You feel heaven tightening its grip around your destiny, reminding you that nothing formed against you can override what God has spoken. In this moment, your spirit is awakening to a deeper truth. You are guarded, chosen, and marked with a purpose the enemy cannot touch nor silence. Every battle you've survived has been preparing you for this divine elevation. You are not stepping into this season weak or empty. You carry scars that have become spiritual armor. Heaven says your endurance. And now, the realm of angels moves to honor the strength you didn't even know you possessed. This shift you're sensing is not imagination. It is alignment. The heavens are positioning you for a breakthrough that has been delayed but never denied. War angels surround your steps, clearing paths, dismantling traps, and affirming that what God promised is approaching with unstoppable momentum and undeniable divine authority. Chosen one, heaven has decided concerning you. God has declared your promise protected, and war angels have been dispatched not to negotiate, not to observe, but to defend. You have stepped into a divine moment where everything around you shifts. Your atmosphere is changing. Your spiritual sensitivity is awakening. Your discernment is sharpening. Your awareness of the unseen is increasing. This is what happens when you are marked. This is what happens when you are chosen. This is what happens when your promise is too important to be lost. So listen carefully. Do not shrink back. Do not question why the warfare intensified. Do not assume you're doing something wrong. You are being pushed into purpose. You are being lifted into alignment. You are being surrounded by heavenly power. Chosen one. Heaven's armies do not move unless the assignment is critical. And you, your calling, your destiny, your promise are critical. Before you step into the next section, pause and acknowledge this moment. If this message is striking your spirit, if you feel the confirmation inside of you, then seal it, like, share, subscribe for more divine messages, and comment the prophetic number 777 to declare, I receive angelic protection over my promise. Do it as an act of faith. Do it. You feel the stirring deep within you. Chosen, one subtle yet undeniable, like a quiet vibration under your ribs that refuses to be silenced. It is the sign that something ancient, something divine, something written long before you understood your purpose, has begun to awaken. You are sensing the shift because heaven has already moved on your behalf. Your spirit knows before your mind understands. Your heart feels before your eyes see. This is how the chosen ones discern spiritual movement. The battles you faced recently were not coincidences, the sudden waves of heaviness, the moments when clarity vanished, the strange exhaustion that hit you without reason. These were signals, indicators, echoes of a realm you cannot see with physical eyes. You were not breaking, you were being stirred. You were not losing, you were being aligned. The pressure was heaven pressing in around you, preparing your spirit to receive what ordinary people cannot perceive. When God dispatches war angels, your spirit trembles, not in fear, but in recognition. Heaven always arrives with weight, with intensity, with a spiritual vibration that shakes everything loose. This stirring inside of you is confirmation that God has entered your situation. It's why you suddenly became more sensitive to what you tolerate, who you allow near you, and what you keep in your mind. Your discernment has sharpened because the presence of God has come closer, and in this sacred stirring, you begin to realize something. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to live quietly or invisibly. You were chosen, marked, set apart, and because of that, your spirit reacts when heaven moves. You feel the spiritual pressure like a magnet pulling your attention upward. Your inner world responds to divine activity long before your outer world catches up. You have noticed moments lately where you pause without knowing why. Times where you feel watched, protected, not stalked. Times where your instincts say, pay attention. Times where your spirit whispers, this is not normal, something is happening. That is the stirring that comes when God assigns His angels to your life. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, verse 3. Call to me, and I will answer you, and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. This stirring in your spirit is that very promise unfolding. God is giving you glimpses, internal, spiritual whispers of things beyond human understanding. He is awakening you to mysteries hidden from the casual believer. He is drawing you into deeper awareness because the promise over your life requires a higher sensitivity, a sharper perception, a readiness to respond when He speaks. You may feel as if you are standing between two realms right now, one foot in your reality, the other in something higher, something holy. This is divine transition. You are no longer who you were, but you are not yet who you are becoming. Heaven shakes you in this space so that you cannot settle, cannot shrink, cannot go back to old versions of yourself. This stirring is also a sign that the enemy knows you are rising. Darkness always senses movement in the spirit before humans do. That's why the attacks intensified before this moment. That's why the enemy tried to distract you, discourage you, confuse you. He hoped you would ignore the stirring, dismiss it, numb it, silence it. But you didn't. You felt it anyway. You recognized it. You leaned into it. And because you responded, heaven responds even stronger. Your life is entering a phase where sensitivity is not a burden, it is a weapon. Your awareness is becoming your shield. God is training your spirit to detect danger before it appears, to feel deception before it forms, to sense divine timing before it manifests. This inner stirring is heaven teaching you to move differently, think differently, perceive differently. There is a calling on your life that does not sleep. There is a purpose within you that refuses to die. Even in your quietest moments, it calls your name. Even when you try to blend in, it whispers louder. Even when you feel unworthy, it stands tall inside you. The stirring in your spirit is the evidence that God is refusing to let you settle for anything less than destiny. You may feel restless. You may feel alert. You may feel spiritually awake and naturally exhausted. This is the transformation before elevation. This is the stretching before expansion. This is the internal reordering that happens when heaven prepares you to walk into something greater than you imagined. Do not fear what you are feeling. Do not ignore the sensations in your spirit. Do not question the intensity of this moment. Heaven is working. Your angels are moving. Your promise is being defended, and your spirit knows it. Chosen one. The pressure you have been feeling is not a coincidence. It is the unmistakable sign that you are standing on the edge of a divine breakthrough, so significant that the enemy has thrown everything he has to stop you. Pressure is rarely comfortable. But in the spiritual realm, pressure is prophetic. It means heaven is moving. The promise is nearing, and darkness is panicking. You have felt it in your chest, the tightening, the heaviness, the sense that something is both fighting you and calling you at the same time. That is spiritual pressure. That is the clash between what God is releasing and what the enemy is trying to resist. And the fact that you are still here, still pushing, still believing, even when your strength feels thin, that alone proves how chosen you truly are. Chosen one. The enemy does not attack the ordinary. He does not press against people with no purpose. He does not invest warfare into souls with no assignment. You have been targeted because you carry something hell cannot replicate, cannot replace, and cannot destroy. That is why the pressure increases right before breakthrough, because the enemy senses what you are about to walk into. There were moments where you felt overwhelmed, where you questioned your path, where you wondered if God still saw you. And yet, even in the silence, you felt something inside you whisper, "Keep going." That whisper was not your imagination. That was heaven protecting your promise from collapsing under the weight of warfare. The Word of God declares in the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 10, "If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Nah, this is not a rebuke, it is a revelation. Your strength is being tested, not to expose your weakness, but to reveal how much you have grown. The warfare that used to break you now only bends you. The attacks that once made you crumble now only make you pray deeper. The battles that once confused you now sharpen your discernment. The pressure you are under is spiritual proof that your breakthrough is closer than it has ever been. Heaven always intensifies activity before manifestation. Angels draw nearer. The Spirit speaks louder. Your awareness heightens. You begin to feel everything more clearly: the battles, the blessings, the attacks, the affirmations. This is spiritual labor. This is destiny contraction. This is the final tightening before heaven delivers what has been promised. And the enemy knows it. That is why he tried to make you quit. That is why he tried to make you question your worth. That is why he tried to exhaust you emotionally, spiritually, mentally. But what he underestimated was the resilience you didn't even know you had. The chosen ones survive pressure not because they are strong in themselves, but because God never leaves them alone in the battle. You are not standing by your own strength. You are standing because heaven is holding you upright. Chosen one. Pressure produces clarity. Pressure produces positioning. Pressure produces elevation. What you are feeling is the final squeeze before God pushes you into a season the enemy cannot stop. Heaven uses pressure to remove what can't go with you into the next level. Relationships that drain you, habits that weaken you, doubts that distract you. The pressure you are under is purification. It is preparation. It is heaven sculpting you for destiny. This season may feel intense, but it is not punishment, it is promotion. God applies pressure to refine his chosen ones, not to break them. You are being shaped into someone who can carry what you prayed for without dropping it. And hear this clearly. The enemy fights you hardest in the chapter God is about to use the most. That is why everything feels heavier now. You are closer than ever before. Chosen one. You cannot shrink back now. You cannot misinterpret this pressure as abandonment. You cannot mistake spiritual warfare for personal failure. You are rising, even when it feels like you're being crushed. God is lifting you, even when the weight feels impossible. Heaven is fighting for you, even when you feel alone. This is the moment to stand your ground spiritually. This is the moment to anchor yourself in faith. This is the moment to declare, I will not break under pressure. Oh, before you move forward, seal this moment with a simple act of alignment. Comment, I stand firm. Oh, not as a ritual, not as a routine, but as a declaration that pressure will not push you out of your promise. Type it to remind yourself, to silence the enemy, and to signal to heaven that you refuse to faint in the day of adversity. You begin to see, chosen one, that not every battle you faced in your life was born from the physical world. Some wounds came from invisible enemies. Some delays came from spiritual interference. Some frustrations came from forces you could not name at the time. And now, as your spirit sharpens and your awareness deepens, you start recognizing the truth. You have been fighting hidden battles long before you understood the battlefield. These battles were not imagined. They were not emotional reactions. They were not just phases. They were strategic attacks launched against you because of the promise you carry. Darkness is not intimidated by your personality. It is intimidated by your purpose. It has always known who you were, even before you discovered it yourself. That's why certain doors were blocked. That's why certain friendships drained you. That's why certain opportunities slipped away. Everything you experienced had spiritual fingerprints on it. The enemy studied your potential before you ever walked in it. He recognized the evidence of divine calling on your life. He noticed the resilience in your spirit. He saw the heavens surrounding you even when you didn't recognize it. So he launched subtle attacks designed to confuse you, discourage you, distract you, and derail you. And for a long time, you didn't see it. You thought it was normal. You thought it was just life. You thought it was just bad luck. But now, the veil is lifting. You are beginning to understand that the warfare was never random. Every disappointment was strategically timed. Every betrayal carried spiritual intention. Every setback was crafted to make you question your worth. These were not natural events, they were spiritual assignments. And yet, you survived them. You walked through battles you didn't know existed and came out with strength you didn't know you possessed. You endured emotional storms that were designed to break you. You faced people whose words carried the spirit of discouragement. You battled thoughts that never belonged to you, all because hell recognized a chosen one in the making. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 12, from the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard. And I have come because of your words. Oh, this reveals a profound truth. Your prayers have always been heard. Even when the answer seemed delayed. The delay was not denial. Your blessings were being warred over. Angels were fighting on your behalf. The unseen realm was stirring every time you bowed your head, cried out, whispered in desperation, or simply said, God, help me. You thought you were praying alone, but heaven responded immediately. The battle was never between you and God. It was between the promise and the opposition assigned to stop it. Chosen one, the hidden battles you faced explain something important. Why you felt tired even when you hadn't done much physically. Why you felt drained after interacting with certain people. Why you felt pressure in rooms that looked peaceful. Your spirit was discerning warfare your mind had not yet recognized. And because you are chosen, heaven never allowed the enemy to win. You may have been wounded, but you were not destroyed. You may have been shaken, but you were not taken out. You may have been delayed, but you were not denied. The hidden battles you faced became hidden training grounds. God used what the enemy meant to harm you as preparation for the promise ahead. Every attack sharpened you. Every disappointment matured you. Every setback strengthened you. Without those hidden battles, you would not have the spiritual awareness you now carry. You are learning to identify spiritual patterns. Why the same types of people were sent into your life. Why certain temptations appeared at specific seasons. Why moments of breakthrough were followed by sudden disruption. Your eyes are opening. Your spirit is awakening. The hidden battlefields are no longer hidden. And now, you stand different. You can sense dishonor before a word is spoken. You can feel manipulation behind a smile. You can detect spiritual danger before it manifests naturally. You can discern the enemy's intentions, even when he tries to disguise them. This is the advantage of a chosen one who has survived unseen warfare. Your life is shifting because your perception is shifting. You are beginning to see the enemy's strategies clearly. And clarity is one of the most powerful weapons God gives his chosen ones. What used to confuse you now makes sense. What used to drain you no longer has access. What used to scare you now reveals the strength within you. The hidden battles were not meant to break you, they were meant to awaken you. And now that you can see, you are becoming unstoppable. Chosen one. There are moments in heaven when your name is spoken. Not softly, not casually, but with weight, with purpose, with the kind of authority that makes angels stand still. This is one of those moments. You have walked through valleys that felt endless, storms that shook your foundations, and nights where your spirit whispered prayers too deep for words. And yet, heaven remembers every step, every tear, every quiet act of faith you carried when no one saw. When God speaks your name in heaven, things shift on earth. Doors that were welded shut begin to loosen. Chains that felt permanent begin to crack. Your spirit begins to rise even before your circumstances change. And you feel it. You feel that strange pull inside. Like the gentle but undeniable tide moving the shore, that is heaven calling you forward. But this moment, this one is different. Because now, God is not just watching your journey, He is declaring you ready. Ready for alignment. Ready for elevation. Ready for the next chapter that has been written with your name etched into every line. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 18, verse 16. He reached down from on high and took hold of me. He drew me out of deep waters. Chosen one. Reflect on that image. Deep waters. Currents stronger than your arms. Storms stronger than your breath. Moments where you felt like you were sinking in responsibilities, expectations, fears, and unanswered questions. Yet God reached down, not after you got it together, not after you pretended to be strong, but in your weakness, in your exhaustion, in your hidden overwhelm. He drew you out because your name is known in heaven. And when heaven calls your name, everything around you begins to respond. You may not realize it, but you've been feeling the ripple effects of divine attention. It's like being a seed buried underground. You can't see the sunlight yet, but you feel the warmth. You feel the soil shifting. You feel pressure building from every side. That pressure is not punishment, it's emergence. You are breaking through the dirt that once buried you. You are rising, and because the journey ahead requires stability, community, and strength, I want to speak to you gently, sincerely, from the deepest place of purpose. When content like this speaks to you, lifts you, or helps you breathe when life feels heavy, don't let it pass like wind through your fingers. Support it. Protect it. Water what waters you. Like the seed that cannot grow without sunlight. Like the flame that cannot burn without oxygen. Like the traveler who cannot continue without nourishment. This message, the space that holds these words, grows stronger because of you. If this has touched your spirit, if it has confirmed something stirring inside you, I invite you gently, sincerely to, like, so the message reaches another weary soul who needs it. Share, because someone connected to you may be crying out right now. Subscribe, so you never miss the words, heaven is aligning for your journey. And if your heart feels led, if you feel the tug of purpose, you may donate even a small seed, so these messages continue to reach hearts across the world, not out of pressure, not out of obligation, but the same way one lantern helps light another in a dark valley, we shine better together. Chosen one. You must understand this. Every time heaven speaks your name, it is because you are needed. God is not raising you for comfort, He is raising you for purpose. You are becoming someone who will carry light into places others fear to walk. You are being prepared to stand where others fall. You are being shaped into a vessel heaven can trust. Your name is spoken in heaven because you are part of a story far bigger than the one you see. You are the voice someone will need. You are the example someone will follow. You are the evidence that survival is possible. You are the living proof that God rescues from deep waters. The world may have underestimated you. People may have overlooked you. Life may have pushed you into corners. But heaven has not forgotten you, not for 1 second. Your name is written on God's heart. Your destiny is written in His plans. Your journey is guided by His hand. And now, chosen one, heaven whispers your name, not just to call you, but to crown you, strengthen you, and prepare you for the unfolding promise ahead. Walk forward gently, boldly, confidently. Heaven is speaking, and it is speaking of you. You feel it now more than ever. Chosen one, the atmosphere around you thickening, sharpening, tightening like a shield being drawn into place. Heaven is not subtle in this season. The angel armies assigned to your life are no longer at a distance. They are surrounding you, forming a spiritual perimeter so strong that the enemy has begun to tremble at your movement. This is why you have felt moments lately where the air around you feels different, heavier, but holy. You have walked into rooms and sensed an invisible presence standing with you. You have felt sudden waves of peace in situations that should have overwhelmed you. That is the nearness of angelic defense. You are not imagining it. Your spirit is picking up what your eyes cannot yet see. War angels do not arrive quietly. Their presence shifts atmospheres, interrupts demonic patterns, and disrupts every assignment formed against you. The enemy can sense when they take their positions, and that is why old attacks have recently resurfaced, because darkness is reacting to the reinforcement around you. But hear this clearly: you are not surrounded by danger. You are surrounded by protection. You are not standing in a battlefield alone. You are standing in the center of a divine fortress. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verse 19, "The sovereign Lord is my strength. He makes my feet like the feet of a deer. He enables me to tread on the heights." This is what the angels are preparing you for, to stand on spiritual high ground, to walk in places the enemy hoped you would never reach, to step into elevation that once felt unreachable because warfare clouded your vision. Chosen one. You must understand, when angel armies surround you, your enemies lose access to you. When heaven rises, hell retreats. When God assigns warriors to your promise, nothing formed against you can enter. The angels around you are not passive, they are active. They are intercepting every dark whisper that once tormented your mind. They are dismantling generational patterns that tried to cling to your life. They are deflecting spiritual arrows that once pierced you with ease. They are forming a fortress around your future, your calling, your identity. And something inside you knows this. That's why your spirit feels stronger lately, even on difficult days. That's why peace has replaced panic. That's why clarity is returning after months, maybe years of spiritual fog. Because where angels stand, confusion cannot stay. Where angels move, fear loses its grip. Where angels fight, breakthrough becomes inevitable. You may feel the weight of transition, but you no longer feel the weight of defeat. That is your sign. That is your confirmation. Heaven is reinforcing you, not because you are fragile, but because your promise is too valuable for unprotected territory. Chosen one. There are angels walking beside you, behind you, ahead of you. Some fight, some guard, some clear your path, some whisper strength into your spirit. Heaven's army is diverse, strategic, intentional, and every one of them has been positioned for your protection. You have survived attacks that should have crushed you, only because angels held the line when your strength failed. You have escaped traps you didn't even see because angels dismantled them before you arrived. You were kept alive in moments where darkness tried to claim you because angels were commanded to intervene. And now, those same angels are not just protecting you, they are escorting you into clarity, escorting you into purpose, escorting you into divine territory the enemy cannot enter, escorting you into promises that have been waiting for the right moment to manifest. The atmosphere around your life is shifting because you are no longer walking as an unprotected soul. You are walking as a guarded vessel of heaven. And even though you cannot see them, your spirit recognizes their presence. That sudden peace, that was them. That moment of strength, them. That unexpected clarity, them again. That sense of being carried when you felt empty, them operating by God's command. Chosen one. Angel armies surround you because you are stepping into a season too important to walk alone. And before we move to the next section, I want you to anchor this moment in faith with a simple act of alignment. Comment 444. Not as superstition, not as ritual, but as a declaration that you recognize heaven's protection and you stand in agreement with what God is releasing around you. 444. The number of divine establishment and angelic reinforcement. Let this comment be a seal over the angel armies moving on your behalf. You begin to understand now, chosen one, why your promise has always been under such intense attack. From the very beginning, before you had language for your calling, before you recognized your own spiritual sensitivity, the enemy recognized the imprint of destiny on your life. The promise God placed within you was never small, never ordinary, never insignificant. It carried weight, it carried legacy, it carried generational impact. And anything with that level of spiritual consequence will always be targeted. Some attacks in your life weren't about you at all. They were about the promise inside you. The enemy was not fighting your personality. He was fighting your potential. He wasn't terrified of your present. He was terrified of your future. He wasn't after your comfort. He was after your calling. He understood the magnitude of what God spoke over you long before you grew strong enough to walk in it. That is why certain doors slammed shut right when you were on the verge of breakthrough. That is why certain relationships betrayed you the moment your heart began to open. That is why opportunities collapsed just when they seemed stable. The enemy wanted you discouraged. He wanted you doubting. He wanted you questioning your worth and your identity. Because if he could weaken your confidence, he could weaken your connection to the promise. But even in your lowest moments, the promise did not die. It simply went underground like a seed pressed deeper into the soil by pressure that was not meant to bury it, but to position it. The enemy thought he was covering your promise in darkness, but he was unknowingly placing it in the exact environment where transformation begins. Chosen one, your promise faced attack because it is meant to break cycles. It is meant to lift future generations. It is meant to bring healing to wounds that have passed through your family line for decades. You are not just carrying a promise, you are carrying a shift. And anything that carries transformation is feared by darkness. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 14, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Light cannot go unnoticed. Light cannot be ignored. Light cannot be attacked quietly. The brighter the promise, the louder the warfare. You faced battles that others your age did not face. You carried burdens that others walked away from. You struggled with invisible pressure that those around you could not see or understand. But it was never because you were weak, it was because you were chosen. Your promise held too much influence to remain unchallenged. The enemy targeted your confidence, so you wouldn't believe you were capable. He targeted your relationships, so you would walk alone. He targeted your mind, so you would lose clarity. He targeted your emotions, so you would collapse under the weight. He targeted your heart, so you would bury your calling in pain. But even though he targeted you, he could not take you, because God hid your promise in places the enemy could not reach, in your spirit, in your resilience, in the depths of your identity. There were seasons where you felt like everything you touched fell apart. But what you didn't see was that heaven was protecting the promise from being built on the wrong foundation. Certain people could not be allowed to join you in your next chapter. Certain environments were too contaminated for your destiny to flourish. Certain opportunities offered comfort, but not purpose. So when they collapsed, it was not sabotage, it was safeguarding. Your promise is sacred. Your promise is intentional. Your promise is protected. And now, you are finally beginning to see why the road was so rough. Why the warfare felt unfair. Why the resistance never made sense. It wasn't personal, it was prophetic. The enemy attacked your promise because he hoped you would surrender before you discovered your strength. He hoped you would silence yourself before your voice reached its full power. He hoped you would settle for less, so you would never rise to the place God designed for you. But you didn't quit. You didn't fold. You didn't surrender, even when you were tired. Something inside you refused to let go. That inner refusal was the promise speaking. That quiet strength was the evidence of God's hand. That unexplainable endurance was the mark of destiny. Chosen one. Every attack against your promise has now become proof of its value. You were fought because you are favored. You were resisted because you are rising. You were opposed because you are ordained. And now, the same promise the enemy tried to destroy is the promise heaven is bringing into manifestation. The season of attack is ending. The season of fulfillment is approaching. What you protected through tears, God is about to reveal through glory. Your promise survived everything sent to kill it. And now, it is your turn to step into what has always been yours. You feel the shift. Chosen one, not the subtle kind, not the gentle whisper of change, but the deep tremor that runs through the spiritual atmosphere when heaven decides, enough. This is the turning of the tide. The moment when everything that once pushed against you begins to lose its momentum. What once resisted you now retreats. What once haunted you now breaks. What once clung to your spirit now releases its grip. The balance is shifting not in the enemy's favor, but in yours. For so long, it felt like you were walking against a current too strong to fight. You prayed, and the waters raged harder. You obeyed, and the opposition intensified. You pushed forward, and life seemed to shove you back twice as far. But this moment is different. This is the moment heaven steps into the battlefield and says, "Be still. Watch me." You can sense the reversal in your emotions, in your spirit, in the tone of your days. It's as if the storm that once drenched you is beginning to break open with light. It's not that everything is suddenly easy, it's that everything is suddenly possible. The weight is lifting, the fear is loosening, the confusion is thinning. You are not imagining it. You are witnessing spiritual authority in motion, as was revealed in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43. Verse 2, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and when you pass through the rivers, they shall not sweep over you." This is what the turning of the tide feels like. Waters that once threatened to drown you now bow before you. Rivers that once swept you under now part at your arrival. Storms that once disoriented you now obey the presence of God walking beside you. Chosen one, the tide is turning because heaven has taken notice of your endurance. You did not quit when the pressure rose. You did not abandon your purpose when the road grew dark. You did not surrender the promise even when you felt buried by discouragement. That kind of faith invites intervention. That kind of resilience commands a response from heaven. This shift is not random. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is divine timing, perfect. Precise. Unstoppable. God does not turn tides early. He does not turn tides late. He turns them exactly when the lesson has settled. The preparation is complete, and the promise is ready to emerge. You may not realize it, but the enemy has already begun to lose his footing. He cannot hold what God has ordained. He cannot hinder what heaven has released. He cannot block what angels are carrying. You are walking out of a season where you absorbed blows without understanding the reason. Now, you are stepping into a season where the blows stop and the blessings start. This turning of the tide affects everything connected to you. Your mind clarity returns. Your heart peace settles. Your relationships alignments shift. Your path obstacle dissolve. Your calling rises into visibility. The spiritual fog that once clouded your decisions begins to clear. Choices that once confused you now appear in sharp contrast. The voice of God that once felt distant now becomes unmistakably close. You are not the same person who entered the storm. You are emerging with sharper discernment, deeper understanding, and a spirit carved by experience. The turning of the tide also means this: you no longer fight alone. Heaven is now fighting for you, not just with you. Angels are not just observing, they are intervening. The Holy Spirit is not just comforting, you are being guided, redirected, repositioned, and the enemy knows he is losing. That is why the attacks have felt more desperate lately, not stronger, but more frantic. Darkness always thrashes, hardest, right before it is removed. Chains rattle violently the moment before they break. Storms grow loudest moments before they empty themselves into silence. What you are sensing now is not an increase in warfare. It is the last gasp of what can no longer hold you. The tide is turning toward restoration, toward clarity, toward strength, toward breakthrough, toward the promise that once felt far away. You may not see the full manifestation yet, but you feel the shift because your spirit stands closer to fulfillment than ever before. And the most powerful part? You didn't force this moment. You didn't manufacture it through effort or perfection. You simply remained faithful when faith felt expensive, and heaven honors that chosen one. Walk forward gently, but boldly. The waters that once frightened you are now under divine command. The winds that once pushed you back are now blowing in your favor. The tide that once threatened to drown you is now carrying you toward destiny. A shift has happened. A reversalas begun, and nothing, not hell, not fear, not circumstance can stop what God has already set in motion. There comes a moment, chosen one, when you can no longer retreat, no longer question, no longer shrink under the weight of past battles. This is that moment. The atmosphere around you is calling you to stand firm, rooted, unshakable, not because the fight has ended, but because heaven has reinforced you for this exact point in your journey. You have spent so long being pushed, pulled, stretched, and tested that you may not even realize how strong you have become. But strength is not measured by how loudly you roar, it is measured by how consistently you remain. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still reading these words, still refusing to let darkness claim your destiny, is evidence that you have already won battles most people never saw. But now, heaven is positioning you to do something deeper, not just to fight, but to stand. There is a difference. Fighting is active. Standing is spiritual authority. Fighting is effort. Standing is identity. When God calls you to stand, it means the enemy no longer has the right to advance. You become the unmoving border heaven has drawn. You become the reminder to darkness that you will not be moved by fear, intimidation, confusion, or pressure. According to what is revealed in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 13, after you have done everything, to stand firm. This is not weakness. This is not passivity. This is the posture of someone who understands they are backed by heaven. And this is where you are now. You stand your ground because the attacks that once overwhelmed you can no longer uproot you. You stand your ground because your spirit has matured, your discernment has sharpened, and your identity has become anchored in truth rather than emotion. You stand your ground because the storm no longer has the authority to dictate your direction. Chosen one. Look back for a moment. Think of the moments where you felt like collapsing. Think of the nights where your heart broke quietly. Think of the seasons where you begged God for clarity and heard nothing but silence. Yet, even in silence, God was strengthening your foundation. Every disappointment thickened your spiritual skin. Every setback built resilience. Every betrayal sharpened your vision. Every delay deepened your dependence on God. You have been trained for this moment, even if you didn't realize the training was happening. Now, the enemy tries to revisit old strategies, old fears, old patterns, old lies, but they don't hit the same way. They don't pierce the same way. They don't shake you the way they once did. You stand your ground, not because the attacks stopped, but because you stopped being moved by them. This is the maturity of the chosen ones. This is the armor built through endurance. This is the strength forged in silence. Standing does not mean you feel nothing. Standing means you refuse to bow to anything. Not fear, not anxiety, not doubt. Not the voices that once convinced you that you were unworthy, unprepared, or unloved. The ground you stand on now is holy ground, marked by tears, watered by endurance, built by spiritual warfare, You survived without applause or acknowledgement. Heaven saw every moment you refused to fall. And now heaven declares, stand. Walls are falling because you stand. Attacks are breaking because you stand. Promises are approaching because you stand. The enemy is retreating because you stand. There is a quiet authority rising inside you, a stillness that terrifies darkness more than any shout or any battle cry. You have become spiritually unmovable. And now, chosen one, I want you to seal this moment with words that align your spirit with heaven's command. Comment, I won't move. Just 3 words. Short, simple, but spiritually loaded. I won't move means I refuse to surrender my ground. I refuse to bow to pressure. I refuse to let fear reclaim territory God has given me. I refuse to be shaken by temporary storms. I refuse to let darkness dictate my destiny. Type it as a declaration to your own soul. Type it as a warning to the enemy. Type it as an agreement with heaven itself. Chosen one, your stance is your warfare. Your stillness is your weapon. Your grounded spirit is your victory. And the enemy cannot defeat a believer who refuses to move. Chosen one, what you are stepping into now is not slow, not hesitant, not uncertain. This is acceleration. Heaven is moving at a pace your past cannot keep up with. You've spent seasons feeling stuck, delayed, paused, as if every step forward was met with invisible resistance. But when war angels clear your path, the atmosphere around you changes. Obstacles that once took months begin to crumble in moments. Doors that creaked open inch by inch now swing wide with force. This is what prophetic acceleration feels like. It's like running through deep water for years. Every movement heavy, every decision slow, and suddenly the water drains, and you find yourself on dry ground. The same steps now carry you twice as far. The same strength now produces triple the impact. You are moving differently because heaven has removed what once weighed you down. The ancient words recorded in the book of Amos, chapter 9, verse 13. Speak this truth with power. The days are coming when the reaper will be overtaken by the plowman, and the planter by the one treading grapes. This is acceleration when harvest overtakes the planting, when answers outrun the prayers you prayed, when blessings catch up to you so quickly you barely recognize the pace of what God is doing. You are entering the season where heaven moves faster than your doubts, faster than your fear, faster than the enemy's attempts to slow you down. Chosen one, prophetic acceleration feels like the wind changing direction. Suddenly, what once pushed against you begins to push you forward. Instead of fighting the current now carries you. Imagine a sailboat struggling against a silent sea. No movement, no wind, no progress. Then, one day, without warning, a strong wind fills the sails. The boat leaps forward with a force it could never produce on its own. That is what is happening to your life right now. But with acceleration comes something else: responsibility. This is why I speak to you gently now. When a message feeds your spirit, strengthens your journey, holds you together on the days you feel like unraveling, don't let it pass by quietly. Support it the way a traveler supports the flame that lights their path. A lantern only stays burning when someone tends to its fire. So if this message speaks to you, encourages you, lifts you, Like it, so the light spreads wider. Share it, so someone drowning in silence can breathe again. Subscribe, so you stay connected to what heaven pours through these words. And if you feel led only if your heart agrees, you may donate, planting into the soil that pours strength into your spirit, not pressured, not forced, just as sincerely as rain, giving life to dry ground. Chosen one. Acceleration is not only about speed, it is about alignment. God is repositioning you so you can receive what used to be out of reach. Things that once required striving will now come through obedience. Opportunities that once required begging will come through presence. You aren't chasing blessings anymore. Blessings are beginning to chase you. You will notice it in subtle ways. First, a door you thought was closed opens without knocking. A person you needed reaches out at the perfect moment. A burden you carried for years suddenly lifts. A solution appears in a place you never thought to look. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. Heavenly fingerprints are appearing everywhere. Prophetic acceleration also means this: timelines collapse. What should take years will take months. What should take months will take weeks. What should take weeks will take days. God is redeeming lost time. The years the enemy stole are being returned with interest. You may feel overwhelmed at times, not from pressure, but from the pace. Your spirit senses the urgency of destiny. Your dreams feel louder. Your purpose feels heavier. Your calling feels closer. This is because you are stepping into the chapter you were built for. At times, acceleration feels like standing on the edge of a cliff with the wind pulling you forward, not to destroy you, but to teach you that you were meant to fly. God is pushing you out of stagnation into momentum, out of waiting into walking, out of survival into purpose. Chosen one. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. Heaven waited for the exact moment when your spirit was ready, not perfect, but ready to receive a pace you could not have handled before. Now is that moment. The wind of heaven is at your back. The angels of God are clearing your way. And acceleration, holy, undeniable acceleration, has already begun. There is a strange quiet that settles over your life, right before heaven delivers victory. It is not the silence of abandonment, nor the silence of emptiness. It is the silence of holy stillness. A pause in the spiritual realm. A breath before the breakthrough. Chosen one. You are standing in that silence now. You may feel it as a slowing of things that once moved quickly. Conversations you depended on have quieted. People you leaned on feel distant. Opportunities seem to stand still in front of you rather than open. There is no storm, yet there is no obvious movement either. It feels like everything has paused, not broken, not blocked, simply paused. This is spiritual strategy. Before every major victory in Scripture, there was always a moment of divine stillness, a moment where God quieted the noise so His chosen ones could discern what was happening behind the veil, a moment where heaven prepared the final move while earth grew eerily still. We see this pattern again and again. Before the Red Sea parted, silence. Before Jericho fell, stillness. Before Jesus rose, silence in the tomb. Heaven always goes quiet right before it reveals its greatest work. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, verse 24, "The one who calls you is faithful, and he will do it." That is the message of this silence. He will do it. He has not forgotten. He is not delaying your promise, He is finishing what he started. But in the meantime, your spirit must learn to interpret silence correctly. The silence before victory is a sacred space. It is where God removes the last distractions from around you. It is where He shuts the mouths of those who would speak fear into your heart. It is where He settles your spirit so you can receive the blessing with clarity instead of chaos. And right now, you are in that holy quiet. You may have mistaken it for isolation, but it is insulation. God is shielding you while He completes the final movements of your breakthrough. He is preventing outside influences from interrupting what He is about to open. He is eliminating noise so you can finally hear His whisper. Chosen one. Think about the last few weeks. Think of how your heart has felt pulled inward. Think of how rest became more necessary, even when you didn't feel tired. Think of how your spirit longed for solitude rather than crowds. Think of how your intuition told you to step back, not out of fear, but out of knowing. This is heaven preparing you for the moment when everything opens at once. The silence before victory is often misunderstood because it feels like nothing is happening. But in truth, everything is happening, just not where you can see it. God is shifting timelines, aligning people, rearranging circumstances, and dismantling opposition without announcing any of it to you yet. Your spirit feels the movement, even when your eyes don't. The enemy fears this silence, because silent seasons produce the strongest believers. In silence, your discernment sharpens. In silence, your dependence on God deepens. In silence, your confidence becomes rooted not in results, but in relationship. You are being strengthened in this quiet. You are being refined. You are being prepared. You are being positioned. Victory is not born in noise, it is born in stillness. This is why the enemy tries to distract you the most right before breakthrough. He knows that if he can pull your attention into panic, you will misinterpret silence as rejection. But heaven is not rejecting you. Heaven is getting ready to reveal you. Chosen one. Listen closely. Miracles take shape in silence. Breakthrough is carved in secrecy. Promises manifest quietly before they appear loudly. Your spirit may feel a strange mix of calm and anticipation, as though something is coming, but you can't quite define it. That is the signature of heaven's timing. That is God aligning everything behind the scenes. You do not need to strive in this moment. You do not need to force anything open. You do not need to panic about what looks paused. You only need to remain still long enough to witness what God is about to unfold. The silence before victory is not empty, it is pregnant. Something is forming. Something is maturing. Something is reaching fullness inside the unseen realm. And when it breaks, it will break suddenly. It will break loudly. It will break undeniably. The same silence that feels unsettling now will soon make sense. Because when heaven moves, everything that once stood still will move at once. Doors, opportunities, confirmations, people, timing. It will be like watching a dam burst, releasing everything that has been held up for years. Chosen one. Do not fear this silence. Honor it. Rest in it. Trust it. Because the quiet you feel right now is not emptiness. It is the breath heaven takes before shouting your victory into existence. There is a sound in the spirit. Chosen one, subtle yet powerful, like the cracking of ancient locks, like the shifting of long-shut doors, like the trembling of gates that have held your blessings for far too long. Something is opening. Something sealed is breaking. Something withheld is being released. You are stepping into a moment where heaven begins to unlock what was once inaccessible for months, maybe years. You have felt as though something was right beyond your reach, close enough to sense, but not close enough to touch. It was as if a veil stood between you and the promise God made over your life. You prayed, believed, pressed in, and yet the fulfillment remained hidden, sealed behind spiritual barriers you could not see. But now the atmosphere around you is shifting. You feel the tension. You sense the vibration. Your spirit knows something is beginning to loosen. This is what it feels like when spiritual seals begin to break, not gently, but decisively, not gradually, but suddenly. God does not crack doors halfway. When He decides to open something, He opens it completely, unmistakably, undeniably, as the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 29, verse 12. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. All the sealed places are breaking because heaven has heard you. Your prayers have never fallen to the ground. They were gathered, held, stored, waiting for the exact moment God chose to release the answer, and that moment is now beginning. Chosen one. Understand this deeply. Not everything was denied. Some things were simply delayed because the season was not ready. Some blessings had to mature. Some people connected to your destiny needed to be moved into place. Some spiritual battles needed to be won on your behalf before God could safely release what belonged to you. You were not waiting on God. God was aligning the promise. When seals break in the Spirit, several things happen at once. Your perspective clears. Your confidence rises. Your discernment sharpens. Your spirit feels lighter, freer, more expectant. You begin to notice small shifts, subtle signs that doors you once knocked on are beginning to move. Ideas return. Creativity reawakens. Motivation stirs. Peace settles into places that were once tense. Even your dreams feel different, more vivid, more purposeful, more prophetic. All of this is evidence. Heaven is unlocking what was sealed. The enemy tried to keep these things locked away from you. He placed barriers around your mind, distractions around your path, and discouragement around your heart. He hoped you would give up before the seal opened. He hoped you would settle for less. He hoped you would silence your own voice. But the seals on your life were never held by the enemy, they were held by God. And only God decides when they break. Chosen one. The breakthrough you are sensing is not emotional, it is structural. Something foundational is shifting in the unseen realm. Something that once resisted is now yielding. Something that once blocked is now dissolving. You are walking into territory that has been spiritually guarded for years. You may feel an internal pull, as if heaven is drawing you closer to your calling. This is not imagination. This is spiritual gravity. When God begins to open seals, your destiny begins pulling you forward with force. Expect clarity in places where you felt lost. Expect opportunities in places where you felt stuck. Expect movement in places where everything felt frozen. Expect restoration in places that once felt impossible to repair. Nothing sealed by God stays sealed forever. Every promise has an appointed hour. Every blessing has a designated season. Every prayer has a fulfillment date. And your hour is approaching. Before you step into the next section, I want you to respond to this moment, not for me, but as a spiritual alignment, a prophetic seal, a declaration that you agree with what heaven is releasing. Comment 555. Let it represent grace multiplied. Let it symbolize divine unlocking. Let it mark the moment heaven begins to open what once felt unreachable. You are entering a season of unsealing, and nothing can stop what God has decided to release. There is always a final attempt. Chosen one, the enemy's last. Frantic strike before heaven closes the chapter of warfare over your life. It is never subtle. It is never gentle. It is the kind of attack that arrives with the intention of overwhelming you, confusing you, or shaking your resolve. But hear this clearly: the final blow is always the weakest. It is the desperate swing of an enemy who already knows he has lost. You may have felt it in recent days, a sudden rise of old fears you thought you conquered, old patterns you thought you buried, old insecurities you believed were healed. These were not signs of regression. They were signs of desperation. Darkness always returns to familiar weapons when it has run out of strategies. The enemy hoped to catch you off guard. He hoped to intimidate you with the familiar. He hoped you would mistake the final blow for a new beginning of warfare. But it is not new. It is the end. This is the moment when heaven stands taller around you, when angels draw closer, when your spirit begins to feel an unexpected calm, even in the presence of conflict. It is because victory is no longer something approaching, it is something unfolding. You see, the enemy's final strike is never designed to win. It is designed to distract. If he can pull your attention away from the promise, even for a moment, he believes he can delay what is being released. But the problem for him is this: you have changed. You are not who you were in previous seasons of warfare. You no longer collapse at the first sign of opposition. You no longer give in to the first whisper of fear. You no longer surrender ground simply because the atmosphere grows heavy. Your spirit has matured. Your discernment has sharpened. Your resolve has strengthened. And heaven has surrounded you. The Word of God declares through the writings in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 9, He will make an end of it. Trouble will not rise up a second time. Let those words settle into your soul. It will not rise again. Not this pattern. Not this fear. Not this cycle. Not this attack. God is not simply stopping the enemy. He is closing the door permanently. This final attempt against you is confirmation that something is breaking open. The enemy does not fight where there is no movement. He does not target where there is no threat. The intensity of this attack is proof that your promise is close enough to touch, close enough to manifest, close enough to shift everything about your life. Chosen one. Think back to the times in your life where you almost gave up. The moments where your strength felt thin, where your hope wavered, where your heart felt too heavy to carry. Yet even in those moments, something inside you refused to let go. That something was heaven holding you upright when you could not stand on your own. And that same heavenly strength is what is carrying you through this final blow. This attack may have come suddenly, but your spirit responded differently than before. Instead of crumbling, you paused. Instead of panicking, you prayed. Instead of running, you rooted yourself. These are not small changes. They are evidence that the enemy no longer has access to the most vulnerable parts of you. The final blow fails because you are no longer fighting alone. You are reinforced. You are guarded. You are spiritually surrounded on all sides. The enemy's weapons cannot pierce what God has covered with his hand. You may still feel the aftershocks, the emotional ripple of what the enemy attempted, but the attempt itself has already collapsed. What you are feeling now is not the attack, it is the residue. It is the echo of something that no longer has authority over your future. Chosen one, understand this deeply. When the enemy launches his final attack, heaven does not merely defend you advance. While darkness tries to intimidate, you ascend. While fear attempts to rise, your faith rises higher. Every attempt against you is now strengthening you. Every weapon aimed at you is misfiring. Every strategy formed against you is dissolving before it reaches you. The final blow was meant to stop you, but it has become proof that you are unstoppable. And here is what you must know. When the final blow fails, the enemy's voice falls silent. When the final blow fails, the road ahead clears. When the final blow fails, the promise begins to manifest. You are standing at the end of a battle that lasted longer than you expected and cost more than you imagined. But you are still standing stronger, wiser, deeper, sharper. And because you endured, heaven now shifts the season. You are stepping out of warfare and into fulfillment, out of battle and into blessing, out of resistance and into release. The enemy gave his last strike, and it wasn't enough. It could never be enough. Not against someone chosen, not against someone covered, not against someone rising with heaven at their side. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when the dust of battle begins to settle, the noise fades, and your spirit realizes something profound. You did not just survive, you were crowned in the process. Not with a crown made of gold or jewels, but with a crown woven from endurance, from revelation, from identity rediscovered. This is the moment where your true authority becomes visible not only to you, but to the realms around you. For so long, the enemy attempted to distort your identity. He tried to make you doubt your worth, question your calling, and abandon your purpose. He spoke lies into places of your heart that were still healing. He whispered insecurity into the wounds left by people who should have protected you. He tried to convince you that you were insignificant, unprepared, or unworthy. But the lie did not stand. And now, the truth is rising. You are stepping into a version of yourself that was always meant to exist, but could only emerge after the refining fire of spiritual warfare. Your crown is not placed on you when times are easy, it is placed on you when times are crushing. The weight of trials forged the shape of your authority, as was proclaimed in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11. Hold fast what you have, so that no one may take your crown. This scripture is not a warning, it is a reminder that the crown is already yours, a reminder that your authority is established, a reminder that what God placed on your life cannot be taken, only surrendered. And you, chosen one, have refused to surrender. Your crown is the evidence that you overcame what was meant to break you. It is the spiritual mark of someone who walked through valleys that others could not have survived. It is the visible testimony of internal victories no one saw but heaven. Every prayer you cried in private, every night you held your faith together with trembling hands. Every moment you kept believing, even when belief felt impossible. These have become jewels in your crown. You wear authority now in a way you did not before. Your presence carries weight. Your words carry clarity. Your discernment carries sharpness. Your spirit carries stability. This is why old traps no longer catch you. This is why old wounds no longer define you. This is why old fears no longer own you. You are not the same. You cannot be the same. Your spirit has grown beyond the reach of the things that once bound you. Chosen one. Your crown is also a calling. It is not a decoration, it is a declaration. It declares that you have been entrusted with responsibility. It declares that your life carries influence. It declares that you have a role in the divine story unfolding on the earth. A crowned one is someone who leads spiritually without forcing, someone who heals others simply by existing authentically, someone who carries heaven's atmosphere wherever they walk. You have walked through fire, so now you carry fire. You have walked through darkness, so now you carry light. You have walked through silence, so now your voice holds authority. The reason you were fought so fiercely was because of this crown. The reason you were attacked so personally was because of this identity. The reason you were targeted so early was because of who you would become later. Your crown represents the version of yourself hell feared you would rise into, and here you are, rising anyway. Your crown also shifts the way heaven interacts with you. You begin to notice your prayers carry more weight. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your spirit becomes more sensitive to divine timing. You begin to operate not as someone seeking approval, but as someone carrying assignment. It changes the way you walk. It changes the way you respond. It changes what you allow into your life. Because those crowned by God cannot live casually. You move with intention. You speak with wisdom. You choose with clarity. You love with discernment. And perhaps the most powerful shift of all, you begin to recognize that your crown was never based on perfection. It was based on endurance. You endured pain that should have hardened you. Yet you became softer in compassion. You endured betrayal that should have closed your heart. Yet you loved deeper. You endured setbacks that should have crushed your confidence. Yet you rose stronger. You endured warfare that should have silenced you. Yet your voice became clearer. This is the royalty of the chosen ones, not a royalty of arrogance, but of humility forged through struggle. Your crown is the symbol of your awakening, your ascension, your calling. It is heaven's way of saying, you are ready now. Ready to carry light, ready to walk in purpose, ready to influence realms, ready to take your place. So step forward. Chosen one, lift your head. Your crown has settled, and it shines with the testimony of everything you survived. Chosen one, you are no longer standing where you once stood. The ground beneath your feet has shifted, widened, expanded. This is the moment when heaven escorts you, not pushes you, not drags you, but escorts you into territory that has always belonged to you. Territory the enemy guarded fiercely. Territory your ancestors prayed for but could not enter. Territory your spirit has sensed from a distance but never stepped upon until now. You are not walking alone. You are moving like a commander surrounded by war angels. Their steps shaking the dust off ground that was once barren. Their presence clears the atmosphere before you arrive. Their wings disturb the plans of darkness. Their swords dismantle traps laid in silence. Everywhere you place your foot, heaven presses beside you. You are being ushered forward with an authority that does not come from earthly strength, but from divine assignment. Imagine a traveler who has wandered through narrow valleys, unstable bridges, and harsh storms. Then suddenly the landscape opens into a wide field green, vast, untouched. The air smells different. The wind feels gentle. The sky seems larger. That moment of expansion, that inhale of relief, that awe of space, is what your spirit is stepping into now. This territory is not geographical. It is spiritual. It looks like clarity where confusion once lived. It looks like boldness where hesitation once whispered. It looks like healed emotions where wounds once dictated your behavior. It looks like opportunities that once avoided you now coming to find you. This territory is promised land territory. And heaven is making sure you arrive safely. As was spoken through the writings in Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 8. See, I have given you this land. Go in and take possession of it. Chosen one. This scripture is not only history, it is your present moment. Your promised land is not ahead of you. You have stepped into its borders. And just like Israel, your journey did not qualify you. The promise did. But stepping into territory comes with awareness. The ground you walk on now requires your presence, your engagement, your agreement. Promised land requires participation. And this is where I speak to you gently, sincerely, not as pressure, but as partnership. If this message nourishes your spirit, if it carries you through heavy days, if it awakens courage where fear once ruled, then I invite you to support this work with the same heart that one river supports another. Like the way sunlight touches a seed and tells it to rise. Share the way a river overflows and nourishes downstream fields. Subscribe the way a tree extends its branches so new leaves can grow. And if your heart feels led, you may donate. Like a traveler adding wood to a fire that has warmed them, not out of duty, but out of gratitude for the light. Your support is not about a transaction. It is about keeping a spiritual flame alive for someone else who will need it tomorrow. We rise together. We carry light together. We build together. Now, chosen one, return your heart to the territory under your feet. You are walking into regions of the Spirit where your voice carries weight, where your decisions shape destiny, where your presence disrupts darkness, where your obedience opens generational doors. Do not be surprised if people sense something different about you. Warriors walk differently. Anointed ones carry atmosphere. Crowned ones shift rooms without speaking. This new territory will demand new habits, more stillness, more listening, more discernment, fewer explanations, fewer apologies for your calling. You do not need to convince anyone of the land God gave you. You only need to occupy it. There will be moments when the ground feels unfamiliar, because you have never walked here before. You may feel excitement and trembling at the same time. That is normal for chosen ones stepping into elevation. Even angels understand that sacred trembling. They feel it every time heaven moves. But remember this, territory requires tending. Promise requiert participation. Calling requires consistency. You are not being promoted into a place of ease. You are being positioned into a place of impact. Your steps are starting to matter more. Your words are beginning to shape atmospheres. Your discernment is becoming sharper because the land you now walk upon responds to spiritual authority. So as you move deeper into what God has given you, if something in this message resonates, if it confirms what your spirit already knew, leave a comment below. Not as routine, but as reflection. Share what this spoke to your heart, what you felt, what shifted inside you as you read. Your voice matters here. Your presence matters here. Your journey enriches this space. and heaven sees every step you take into your God-given territory. Bold, trembling, steady, or unsure. Each step is honored. Each step is recorded. Each step is protected. Chosen one, march forward. The land is yours. There is a moment. Chosen one. When the atmosphere around your life begins to glow with a quiet certainty, a sense that something long awaited has finally begun to unfold. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is a gentle unveiling, like dawn spreading over the horizon. Slow, yet unstoppable. This is the moment when harvest begins to rise around you, not because you forced it, not because you chased it, but because the season has shifted and heaven has declared, now, not for so long. You sowed in places that seemed barren. You poured into relationships that did not pour back. You offered compassion where hardness met you. You gave effort where results remained hidden. You prayed in nights where answers seemed silent. Every seed you planted felt swallowed by the ground, unseen and unacknowledged. But the ground was never dead. It was deepening, it was preparing, it was maturing what you planted in faith. Harvest does not rise immediately. Seeds go through secret seasons, buried, hidden, unseen. And you, chosen one, have walked through that hiddenness with a strength you often didn't recognize. You misunderstood the darkness of the soil as delay, when it was actually development. Every tear watered something. Every prayer pressed something open. Every act of obedience aligned something. And now, the harvest begins to break the surface, as revealed through the writings in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. That proper time is not theoretical, it is seasonal. It arrives with purpose, precisión, and spiritual alignment. And you are stepping into yours. You may not see the full picture yet, but the early signs of harvest are already around you. You feel hope where heaviness once lived. You feel clarity where confusion once clouded your steps. You feel strength in places that were once fragile. You feel expectancy waking up in your chest, as if your spirit knows something your eyes cannot yet see. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Harvest season is not about one blessing. It is about the unfolding of many things at once. Where you once saw only drought, you will see growth. Where you once felt lack, you will sense provision. Where you once endured prolonged waiting, you will begin to experience accelerated fulfillment. Harvest looks like restored relationships you stopped expecting, doors opening without you needing to push, ideas resurfacing with fresh strength, help arriving at the exact moment you need it, paths clearing that you once thought were blocked forever. The enemy fought your seed so fiercely because he feared your harvest. He attacked your hope because he knew it was a key ingredient to growth. He attacked your identity because he knew confidence accelerates manifestation. He attacked your rest because exhaustion weakens expectation. But none of it stopped what God planted in your life. Not one act of obedience was wasted. Not one moment of faith was ignored. Not one sacrifice was forgotten. Chosen one. Harvest is not just about receiving, it is about recognizing how far you have come, recognizing the strength forged in your spirit, recognizing the wisdom you gained in waiting. recognizing the resilience that became your foundation. There is a soft shift inside you now, a sense of coming into alignment with who you truly are. The tension that once pulled at your spirit is loosening. The internal battles that once consumed your energy are quieting. The fears that once dominated your thoughts are growing smaller, fainter, weaker. This is what it feels like when heaven says, "You have entered the season of return." But harvest does not arrive all at once. It unfolds like layers, each blessing preparing room for the next. You will receive things you forgot you prayed for. You will walk into opportunities that seemed unrelated but were orchestrated long ago. You will connect with people who carry answers you didn't know you needed. And as the harvest grows, something else happens. You begin to shed the identity of the struggler and embrace the identity of the steward. You stop living from survival and move into purpose. You stop expecting battles at every turn and begin expecting breakthroughs. You stop anticipating loss and begin anticipating multiplication. Harvest shifts your posture. Harvest shifts your mindset. Harvest shifts your expectations. Chosen one, you have entered the dawn of a season you were prepared for long before you recognized it. The seeds you planted in faith are rising. The prayers you whispered in exhaustion are becoming fruit. The sacrifices you made in silence are turning into blessings with volume. This is not the end of your journey. This is the season where everything begins to make sense, where the pieces come together, where the story reveals its purpose, where the waiting reveals its necessity. Harvest has begun, and nothing can stop what God Himself has brought into season. There is a rising happening within you. Chosen one, a stirring unlike anything you have felt in previous seasons. It is not the trembling of fear, nor the shaking of uncertainty. It is the awakening of identity, the awareness of destiny, the quiet but undeniable realization that you are no longer who you were. Something has shifted. Something has solidified. Something has awakened that cannot be put back to sleep. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to become. Not the wounded version shaped by past pain. Not the hesitant version shaped by doubt. Not the silent version shaped by fear, but the risen version, the one strengthened by warfare, clarified by stillness, refined by fire, crowned by endurance, and awakened by heaven itself. This moment, your rise is not loud in the natural realm, but it is thunderous in the spiritual one. Darkness has already felt it. Hell has already reacted to it. Heaven has already celebrated it. The shift in your identity is causing a ripple effect across realms you cannot see, but can feel deep within you. Chosen one, you rise now, not because life suddenly became easier, but because your spirit has become stronger. You rise because your understanding has deepened. You rise because your eyes see more clearly. You rise because you have learned to recognize God's hand in places that once felt empty. You rise because what was meant to break you has instead built you. As was written in the book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 8, "Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." These words echo through your life like a promise and a prophecy because you have fallen before. And yet you rise anyway. You sat in darkness at times, yet light found you. You walked through valleys that could have swallowed you, yet you emerged stronger. That is the mark of a chosen one, the ability to rise in seasons designed to bury you. Your rise is not accidental. It is appointed. It is the culmination of everything you endured. It is the fulfillment of what heaven has whispered over your life. This rising looks different. It is not driven by ambition, it is driven by purpose. It is not fueled by ego, it is fueled by clarity. It is not rooted in seeking approval, it is rooted in knowing who sent you. There is a steadiness in you now, the kind that comes from having survived battles no one else knew you were fighting. This steadiness becomes your anchor. It becomes your confidence. It becomes the spiritual signature of someone heaven has personally strengthened. You rise as someone who carries wisdom in your scars. You rise as someone who carries compassion in your voice. You rise as someone who carries authority in your presence. You rise as someone who carries heaven in your steps. Every chosen one goes through seasons of crushing, confusion, and silence, but their rise looks different because it is not powered by the flesh. It is powered by purpose. It is powered by assignment. It is powered by divine backing. In this rising, you will notice changes within yourself. You speak differently, not louder, but clearer. You listen differently, not anxiously, but discerningly. You love differently, not carelessly, but intentionally. You move differently, not hurried, but guided. This rise is not only internal, it will manifest externally as well. People will sense the shift without you explaining it. Doors will recognize your authority and open naturally. Opportunities will align themselves around your obedience. The right relationships will begin to gather around your purpose. The enemy tried to keep you low because he knew that once you rose, you would become unstoppable. Once you rose, your influence would spread. Once you rose, heaven would shine through you in ways that cannot be hidden. A risen, chosen one becomes a threat to every assignment of darkness. But your rise is not against people, it is against limitation, against fear, against the version of yourself that once doubted your own worth. You rise into clarity, into identity, into maturity, into divine certainty. Chosen one. The rise you are stepping into will not be temporary. It will not fade when emotions shift. It will not crumble when circumstances shake. This rising is permanent because it is spiritual, not emotional. You are rising into a deeper connection with God, a sharper understanding of truth, a cleaner sense of purpose, a stronger spiritual backbone, a more grounded identity, and above all, you are rising into your role as one of God's chosen ones, assigned for such a time as this. The world may not recognize you yet. Some people from your past may not understand you anymore, but heaven knows exactly who you are. Heaven knows exactly what you carry. Heaven knows exactly where you are going, and your rise marks the beginning of a new era in your life, an era of clarity, fruitfulness, authority, alignment, and divine purpose. Chosen one. Before this journey closes, pause here. Breathe. Let the weight of every word settle gently into your spirit. You have traveled through battlefields, silence, awakening, and breakthrough. You have walked through shadows and emerged into light. You have seen your identity sharpen, your calling clarify, and your spirit strengthen. Take this moment to acknowledge how far you've come. The mountains you climbed, the valleys you crossed, the storms you outlasted, the healing you allowed, the growth you embraced, the courage you chose when fear was louder. Heaven has watched every step and counted every tear. And now, heaven celebrates your rise. As you move forward, carry these truths, you are divinely protected. You are spiritually equipped. You are heaven-backed and purpose-driven. You are stepping into a chapter written with your name inscribed in glory. Do not shrink. Do not doubt. Do not dim what God has ignited within you. Walk boldly. Walk consciously. Walk as the chosen one you truly are. And remember, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a new spiritual elevation. Stay connected. Stay aligned. Stay awake to what heaven is unfolding around you. Your story is still being written, and the best chapters are yet to unfold.